Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Mojo, and today we are at the last of a 5-part series where I've been talking about planning and time management for effective goal setting. So today we're going to talk about, yes, that elephant in the room, distractions. Listen, we all face distractions. I do, and it has become extremely difficult in the time of social media. Yeah, social media is actually a weapon of mass destruction, and it does destroy lives. It destroys lives because it steals our dreams, our goals. It's become a form of procrastination. So rather than get things done, we spend that time on social media. And research has actually said in the UK, we scroll the length of the Canary Wharf Tower. And if you're in the US, Statue of Liberty, yes, we scroll the length of the Statue of Liberty every single day on our phones. So our phones, while they can help us make a very good living, a decent living, they could also be that thing that steals away our future. And remember, when we talk about future, it's our time, money, goals that we'd really like to achieve. So you need to check exactly how much time you're spending on your phone. And a lot of phones now are actually built with apps that can actually track ones you're spending your time being productive on. But if you're spending time on Facebook, Instagram, and the worst of them all, TikTok, then I'm sorry. Unless you're making money off it, and if you're an influencer, then by all means, spend time on it. But if you know that it's distracting, then think about deleting these apps. Think about putting some blocks. I used to use a block. I'll find the name and put it here on my laptop. This was before apps were actually on the phone. So I used to be addicted to Facebook, but I had to find a time block which blocked me off the 3 websites I used to go to. That was Facebook, Mail, the Daily Mail, and another website. Yeah, I think it was Amazon. So I was addicted to these 3 sites, so I had to block them. But obviously, this was probably 2009, 2010. Now I've become a lot better because recently I had to delete. During the pandemic, I got addicted to TikTok. I found myself waking up in the morning and spending about an hour on it because obviously no one was going anywhere. After a few months, I had to delete it, and I'm reluctant to put it back on my phone. One thing that fuels distractions as well is you set your goals and then you have some kind of inertia or reluctance to start. Now, what I found, once you set your goals, when you actually want to start working on your goals, you have to remember that. I'm sure you know that motivation, inspiration, they work, but not consistently. You need to really just get it done. So things I found that help me is, as I'm using my phone to record now, I put my phone in focus mode. So if I don't want to be disturbed, trying to work on something, first thing I do is put my phone in focus mode, which means no calls, nothing comes through. Another technique I use is the Pomodoro. So the Pomodoro is really setting your clock, your timer for 25 minutes. Then you set it and you start going on whatever task it is that you need to get started on. And what tends to happen is that after 25 minutes, you find yourself in the flow. And even if you don't, after 25 minutes, you can stop for 5 minutes, take a break, have a drink, get up, walk around, and then get back in it and do another 20-25 minutes. And each time you time yourself. If we don't do those things, they won't get done. We need to get them done, and time is moving on. You know, we have a lot of billionaires, successful authors, amazing doctors, great influencers, entrepreneurs, discovered the cures for different things, come up with innovative ideas. But where are they? They're all in the graveyard because they didn't take the time, the effort, the commitment it took to see their ideas come to fruition. It's important because every single day we get ideas, but we're distracted. What distracts us? So I've talked about social media, phone calls coming in, friends calling you distracting yourself. We need to be mindful of these gadgets. They're a tool for us, but they can also be our downfall. So we need to take control and make sure that we're not distracted by the minutiae of procrastination. In Steve Covey's book, he talks about the quadrants, and we have 4 quadrants, right? I talk about the 4 quadrants also in my book. The quadrants where you're going to be achieving your most results require planning. And these are things that you need to do, even though right now they're not so serious. So things like you want to start a business, you need to start. Otherwise, in a year, 2 years down the line, that business will not be here. Maybe you want to lose weight. If you don't do anything about it and you don't lose the weight, that weight could become something more serious, you know. diabetes, the C word. Smoking, you're thinking of giving up smoking, but you don't, and then it leads to something more serious. So goals or things we should be doing right now in that quadrant, we need to, I was going to say find the motivation, but we need to turn them into habits, because if we don't, we become people who firefight. Now, what do we mean by firefighting? Firefighting is when you're dealing with things that should not have arisen had you worked on them earlier. So I was talking about losing weight. You don't lose the weight, and now you've been diagnosed with diabetes. You can't work. Other health issues are coming up. You need a hip replacement, knee replacement, whatever that is. It's because down the line, possibly you could have prevented that by exercising or eating well, and now you found yourself firefighting, not paying your bills on time, and now you've got the debt collectors at your door. Now, another reason we might be distracted is maybe those goals are not really what we want. So maybe it's time to revisit those goals. Do they align with your values? Are these something you actually enjoy doing? Are these your goals? But distractions are a form of procrastination. We don't want to do something and then we find other things to do. When I wrote my book, I think I did mention something. So let me read this part of the book for you. This is how I actually opened the book. I've been intending to write this book for months. Why am I actually doing it now? Is it because I finally found some uncommitted time? Wrong. I have assignments to grade, emails to send, new models and courses to develop, and overdue library books to finish reading. I'm working on this book now as a way of not doing any of those things. So yeah, I actually wrote this book because I didn't want to do any of those things. So it's easy. We want to start a project, we go into the fridge 100 times. We look at Netflix. Another way you can deal with distractions is if I'm doing a task and I'm distracted, something comes to mind and I want to go and Google something, or thinking of what might be on Netflix or Amazon or whatever, I would write that down. So take a piece of paper. If you're distracted, just write down exactly what you can do after that targeted session. So if you set your timer for 25 minutes and you're distracted by thinking about something, just write it down on a piece of paper, and during your 5 minutes you can go and check. We're not in prison here. There's time to enjoy ourselves, but we need to get things done first. We need to do the most important things. Eat that frog. Do the things you don't want to do so you can do the things that you want to do. Now, just to remind you, I've got my book on offer, and this is about time management and planning things effectively. And I love the title, The Time Waster's Guide to Time Management, because face it, we all waste time. What this book is going to try and get you to do is focus on those things that matter. Remember the Pareto principle. 80% of our results actually come from 20% of our efforts. So it's trying to recognize what those 20% of the things we do that are productive are. And this book will help you to achieve that. And successful people are successful because they know those 20% of things that they need to focus on to bring 80% of those results that we need. And I hope you've enjoyed this series, and if it has helped you in any way, please drop a comment. And yeah, compliments of the season. Thanks for watching. See you around.